Hey guys, welcome to another video from the Reaper blog. I'm John, and today I'm going to do a review of the Tantra plugin. It's a rhythmic multi-effects processor. It's kind of incredible. I love this thing, and it's certainly worth the money. In this session, I've got a couple short synth patterns. I'll turn off the plugin, and you can see just how basic the synth sound is. With Tantra on, it's the sound that you heard before. I'm not going to go through all the presets in this. I already have a demo video that I posted last week that's playing around with some of the presets. In this, I'm going to kind of give you an overview of what this plugin can do. So let's go through the different sections of this plugin. In this section here, there's our presets. There's a previous and next button for what's next in the list, and then a previous and next button for the last presets that you chose. Settings, emergency reset button, and then a bypass button here. Now in this section, there's the tremolo effect. The tremolo speed is set here. Activate the tremolo by turning it up. So this is how much volume change there's going to be. There's pan flip, which makes the tremolo work on panning left and right. And then there's smooth, which takes the pattern you have here and kind of rounds the corners. So there's no clicking. You can turn off the sync to the project tempo here. So in this section, we've got a 32-step sequencer, or we can have an envelope curve. There are 8 sequences that we can assign to any control in Tantra to modulate it. So in this section here where it says default preset, that's presets just for the sequencer. So just so it's clear that none of these other processors are active, I'm going to turn these off. Okay, so before we can hear the tremolo effect, we have to create a pattern. So I'm just going to pull this one down and shrink the length of the sequence down to just 2 steps. So 16th notes and tremolo all the way up. Now, as I said, there are 8 different patterns we can have. So we can set this to make something. Actually, I'll do random. The question mark on any of the modules gives us a random. So I'll make this one do panning flip, and I'll smooth this out a little bit. And on sequence 1, we'll do tremolo. Very smooth, and set it to half notes. Okay, you know, those aren't too exciting, but what you could do with them is take what kind of you're adding, kind of making new notes out of nothing. So let me show you the curves thing, and I'll just put it on random and use the tremolo. So yeah. And just to remind you what that sound was before. Now there's different sequences here. And I do have to set this back to something like 16th. And that by itself is pretty cool. and a lot of people would pay $50 just for that. Let's look at some other things. Turn off the tremolo. Now let's look at the next section. So in this section here, we've got our other effects. Filter, distortion, delay, lofi, flanger, glitch. And we can change the order by simply dragging and dropping here. And the tremolo can be assigned as well. Then we've got an A-B button because we actually have 12 effects here. And these can be used in series or parallel. So pretty powerful, as you can see. Then we have a global EQ and reverb. All right, so the filter section. Filters are fairly self-explanatory, but this one is really cool because it can do phaser modes and ring mod and pitch shift and octave bend and vowel filters. And that, when combined with the modulators, is really, really cool. So let's just go through these filters. So, oops. Turn panning flip off. All right, so it's just filters. This filter section also has a low cut and high cut in addition to whatever filter you select here. All right, so high pass. There's a band pass filter. There's a steeper, low pass, high pass, and band pass. We've got a 4-pole and 8-pole phaser. I'll show you that. And the 8-pole. Ring mod. Essential for space sounds. Pitch shift. Awesome. This is the octave band. And the vowel. Use that for like talking effects. Now let's go through these again, but with a sequence playing back. So to assign a sequence to any of the parameters, you simply drag and drop from this dot. So I'm going to put it on cutoff. If we right click this, we have a range control. So we're seeing the filter cutoff, depth 15%, positive 15%, and then a delete button and a bypass button. Let's bring it up to 100%. And now the minimum value is whatever the knob is. We could also reverse this to minus 100, and it'll be, this is the maximum volume, and then it goes down the other way. All right, 100%, and let's play back. Pretty cool. All right, next in line is the distortion module, which honestly sounds great on just about everything. So I'm just going to bring up the mix, and you'll probably already hear some sort of tone change. So there's like a tube style overdrive, and the overdrive is more like a stomp box style effect. There's a mono sum here, 100% is mono. Then there's a tone change and output volume. All right, next up is the delay module. It's a pretty good sounding digital delay. There's a stereo link, so these two knobs move together. We've got our sync to match to the tempo of the song, feedback control. There's a low pass filter and a band pass filter, and these can be used together. And then a global mix knob and ping pong mode. So I'm going to set this to about 50%. Now unlink them. It's a pretty nice sounding delay. Pretty basic, but remember you have all these modulations, and you can filter it and all this kind of stuff too. Let's go over to the lo-fi module. It's a basic bit crusher, sample rate reducer with some noise and tone control. Again, it's probably an effect you've heard before. It's when it's combined with these other effects that it becomes very useful. And also, lo-fi works better on drums and things like that. So the flanger effect is next. Mix control, stereo width, slightly delaying one side. I've got our delay time, feedback, plus and minus 100%. Tone control, depth, how much shift there is. And we've got speed, and it can be synced to the tempo or not. So let's set this to 1 bar, 50% width. The flanger can also be set to phase mode, so now it's a phaser. So you can use this as a subtle stereo widener as well, or kind of subtle. Set this to 0 and set the delay really short. Next up is the glitch module. So in this module, there's the buffer size. This slices up your audio as it's coming through into chunks that are this size. You can reverse the chunks. You can smooth the transitions, rounding the edges of those samples. The scale then divides that buffer into different sizes, and the stretch, stretches them. Run mode and freeze mode. Freeze mode will grab a sample and repeat it infinitely while the playback is running. And run mode, it gets to the end of this sample chunk and then resamples it, re-records it. So for sounds that are constantly changing, run mode is better. So let's play with this. So pretty fun, and again, you can assign this to the modulators and get lots of cool effects. The last things are the EQ and the reverb. Also in this master section, we've got a phase correlation meter, output meters, dry and wet control, brick wall limiter so it never goes above 0, master panning, and master volume. The EQ. So it's a 3-band EQ, and you can change the crossover point between the 3 bands. So let's just play around with this. Now the reverb. Okay, so I'm just going to crank this up to 10, and let's see how this sounds. So an almost infinite reverb. That's pretty cool. Let's make it really, really tiny. Size it. Let's try 10. Decay at 10. So you can hear that there is some modulation going on in this reverb algorithm, and in the phase correlation meter, you can see that it's going into the negative. So just something to be careful about. You're probably not going to use this at 100% wet. Another thing I should point out is this in button, which will turn off the input to the reverb. So if this is off, you won't hear any reverb, but you could automate that so that you can send something into it, make a pad out of it, and then that kind of thing. So now the real fun comes from combining all these effects. I'm going to reset it to default. I'm going to use the tremolo to kind of pulse, and maybe just a simple on-off is all that's needed. So let's do this 50% and make that a triangle wave. Okay, on curve 2, do let's make a curve that's like this, and in here I can change the tension, so where those curves are. You can also click and drag on the curve itself, on the lines. So let's make this our pan flip. These buttons here set this module to be global section A or section B. This doesn't always have an effect because of the position of it in here, but sometimes it does. All right, so distortion. And that sounds pretty cool. Trying to think of what else I may have missed. In the curve option here, there's this invert, which will flip the direction of these points. There's also the matrix, which shows you all of your modulators. So you have 8 mods, have a depth control, you have the destination. As you can see, there are a lot. And as I said, there are actually 2 sections for the effects. So you have these 12 effects that you can have in parallel or series and get some really cool options. I'm going to go to some of my user presets, things that I made up the other day. And that is simply automating the filter cutoff in ring mod mode. I'll show you another one. So this is simply changing the mix of the distortion. So without this on, sounds like this. So basically this effect is a low pass filter and a distortion and nothing else. High pulse. Not even any modulation there, just the tremolo. So these are similar patterns, but actually reversed, or the tension is changed. And lots of nasty distortion and all that kind of stuff. So in addition to all these effects, there's great presets like this one. This plugin, you can get lost in it for hours. It's so much fun to play with. Useful for more than just electronic music because each module sounds so good, and adding in subtle changes through the modulators, it just makes it so powerful. It's very stable. I haven't had a single crash with it. Always a good thing to say about a plugin. And it was very affordable. I'm not sure if the sale is still on, but it was $49 when I bought it. Well worth it. And at $99, I think is the regular price. I think it's still definitely worth it. A lot of fun. One of the most fun plugins I've ever had. Always makes me smile. And as I said, you get lost just playing with it. There's so many things you can tweak, and it just always sounds good. I love it. Highly recommend it. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Check out reaperblog.net for more tutorials, and I'll see you guys soon.